So if you want your bumper to look perfect like this, please follow these tips so that you can also get ready to paint and wrap. If you don't follow this tip, this is never gonna work. Let's get right on it.
You know, when you take your car to the person who's going to wrap it, and there's some small dings or damage or any kind of paint swirls, scratches, that kind of stuff, you need to ask the wrapper, like, is this going to come through the wrap? Am I paying $3 to $5, $6, $8,000 on some of these cars, and I'm going to still see the damage? Like half the time that people are wrapping, they're trying to cover up the damage. So if they're not doing the job correctly, then just get the estimate and go somewhere else. If you ask them, hey, what's this fish scale where the sealant, the clear coat is coming up on my car, is that gonna wrap correctly? Like, how are you gonna do that? And they don't know, or they're just like, don't worry about it, you'll never see it. I wouldn't go to them. I would take it to someone who's gonna tell you, well, I could fix the whole car and do some body work and sand the paint scratches down and all that for an extra $500. Let me take some before and after pictures or show you some before and after pictures of cars that we've prepped so that you can get the best, shiniest looking new wrap job. That's the person you want to go to, and that's what we do at Disturbing Creations. So please don't skimp on this stuff. You're paying thousands of dollars to get your car to look beautiful, to get these wrap jobs done. Make sure you get the correct prep work as well. Thanks.
All right, so here's a pro wrap tip I want to show and share with you guys. This is the back of the BMW bumper, and it looks like somebody has repainted here because the clear coat didn't last at all, just kind of flaky. So all these little scratches in the paint, these little bumps, all this little stuff, if you use a thin wrap like we're gonna use, you're gonna see all of this. So you're gonna need to do some prep work here. So on the side over here, I've done some prep work already. So what I've done is I've hand sanded down all the way down to where the damage was. So now that this whole section is flat. Now you can see some primer underneath here. If I just hand sanded a little bit here, this primer and paint, or this blue paint, wouldn't have come through. There should have been 3 coats or 2 coats of blue paint with maybe 2 or 3 coats of prime on top, but that wasn't how it was. This went right through, and you can see that there's raised level here of paint. So someone has done a not so good body work here. You can see the little flecks. A paint gun doesn't paint like this, little flecks through here like this. That means that it wasn't flat at the time that the person painted this car. So someone did a repaint. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna show you guys how to resand this real quick to make this side that's, got all the damage and rough. This feels like alligator skin. And if I put a flat wrap on this, you're gonna see this through, and I can't have that, So we're gonna turn that side into this side, make it flat, and then I'm gonna show you what the wrap looks like after we're done. So I just took this tiny little piece of 400, just enough to, cut off the stick of my fingers, and I got it nice and wet. We're gonna wet the area right here. We're just gonna rub. It doesn't matter which way you rub because, we're gonna do circles, we're gonna go back and forth. You can see now the lines. This is where the damage is. So what that is, why the lines turned white, is either that's the primer showing through, So I'm getting the lines down, and that means it's getting flatter. All this little fish scale looking glitter stuff has to come off. So it doesn't matter if you get all the way down to the primer or not. It doesn't matter if it's to the blue. It doesn't matter if they're multicolor. As long as the surface is flat is all we need. Once the surface is flat and all this little fish scale stuff is off, the little crispies are off, then when you put the wrap on, it's gonna look flat. Also, if you put the wrap on and you have these little like clear flakes, if you pull the wrap up to try to maneuver it to another place, that crispy flake is gonna be on that piece of wrap and that part is never gonna stick on the car again. Then you did the whole bumper and that piece is now ruined. So what are you gonna cut that piece out and put an inlay there? I mean, this is obvious where you can see it. So just take your time, take the sandpaper, keep getting it wet, and then just keep working it until you feel that there's no more flake. You don't want any fish scale on there, and you want to make sure that it's flat. Now, if this is to the point to where it's flat and it looks like this, and it feels flat and I don't feel any bumps or anything, then that's where I would leave it. But this one is, I feel a little bit right here on the outside. Now here in the middle, it feels flat. Even though it looks like a little puzzle here, that's because when they primered, the primer wasn't dry and they spray painted over the primer too quickly and they tried to clear coat it. If it was cold out, the paint takes a long time to cure when it's cold. So you can't do this. You gotta experiment a little. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing and it looked good for the day or when they had the car or whatever, but it feels nice and the wrap's gonna cover all that. So I'm gonna feather it out more on the outside and then I'm gonna be ready to go. So learn these little tips. You could be the best wrapper in the world. It doesn't matter if the prep area isn't completely soft and ready to go, your wrap's gonna look terrible. A car that wasn't prepped correctly. He couldn't take a car that had peeling up clear coat and wrap it. Because every time he moves the wrap, he would tear up some of that clear coat. Then there would be indentions where the clear coat was ripped off and pieces of the fish scale are on the wrap. He'd never be able to fix it. And he knows it and I know it. But now I want to teach you, because I'm a body person, how to prep the car to get it ready for somebody. And today I am sanding the top of the bumper where all the cracks are. And as you see here, there's like some fish scaly looking stuff underneath the water here. That was clear coat that was peeling up. You can't wrap over the clear coat that's peeling up because you're going to damage your wrap. So I sanded it down in all the places where some amateur painter or maybe a pro painter that was just trying to hurry up didn't do it correctly. You see just a little bit of sanding took it through the clear coat, through the base coat, and all the way down. So I know that that isn't car paint, that's spray paint, because people spray it 1-2 times and then clear it. And there's no real buildup here, like this little spot that they fixed as well. So there probably was maybe some damage in the bumper, I don't know, or it had bad paint and someone tried to fix it. You can see the stress cracks where they painted it too fast, and the paint and the primer kind of mixed together and made those cracks. If it was a regular crack, then you wouldn't see that because it wouldn't have mixed together. So I know that this is in factory, and I know as a wrapper and a person that does body work that that's not what the paint looks like. The paint is supposed to be nice and shiny like this. I mean, this paint's a little dirty. I need to clean the car still, but you can tell the difference between this and the bumper paint. So I don't want to prepare a car crappy. I want to take my time and prepare the car. I'm going to do everything that I need to. If you're a person you're taking it to, you need to ask them about this stuff.